Calgary. A Calgary homeless shelter for children and families has been overflowing for the first 5 months of the year, a worrisome trend its staff believes is linked to the rise in domestic violence rates in the city. We've been at or over capacity about 80% of the year, from January through May. How that compares to last year, it was 33%, said Eb Brown, the executive director of In From the Cold. In From the Cold executive director Abe Brown says the shelter has been over capacity this year, due in part to increases in reported domestic violence. Evan Radford, Star Metro Calgary, that's a big jump. He oversees the 24-hour shelter, which can house a maximum of 33 to 4 children families at a time. The shelter has been partnering with Knox United Church to get living space for some of the families it can't take in, but Knox will be at capacity once it hits 20 families, Brown said. Article continued below. When you look at that increase, you understand what's leading to that. Obviously there's still a lot of instability in the economy, and then affordable housing is a real problem. People just don't have it, particularly families, and larger families, he said. Brown said those factors mean that more of the shelter's clients this year are citing domestic violence as a cause for their homelessness, and hence the need to use the shelter, up 22% up from last year. Read more. Domestic violence in Calgary persistent and very problematic, police chief tells councillors. In From the Cold has so far also seen an 18% rise in clients who are single mothers who report domestic violence as a cause for their family's homelessness. Brown said, it was one of those stats that popped out, because anytime you see an 18% increase, particularly on something that's as profound as domestic violence, it's just enough to make you wonder what's going on. Article continued. Bella Wist's team started looking into the numbers after the Calgary Police Service released its annual crime data report earlier this month. The report said officers responded to 4,971 domestic violence calls in 2017, a 16% increase over the previous year, and 47% higher than the 5-year average. The amount of domestic violence, child abuse, sexual violence in the city remains too high. Chief Roger Chaffin told the city's Community and Protective Services Committee when the report was released. The persistence of domestic violence issues in our city is still very problematic, and those numbers worry Brown. When people have economic instability and when they don't have jobs, when they don't have stable housing, when they have food insecurity, domestic violence is just a part of that package, that level of stress and anxiety leads people to perhaps do things that they wouldn't do, he said, and they wind up at a place like In From the Cold to help get them through it. That's why, Brown said, affordable housing is key to help families secure stable, healthy living situations. To that end, part of In From the Cold's strategy is to advocate for and build affordable housing that can sustain families with 3 or 4 children. Our average family size is 3 kids. And the problem is that the City of Calgary's own data shows that only 24% of all the affordable housing in Calgary is 3-bedroom living spaces, and the city's own data shows that we have half of the amount of affordable housing of other major cities in Canada, with files from Trevor Howell, Star Metro Calgary.